Banana and Bears Rugby Pod.
Oh my God. It's Jesus Christ. It's like a James Bond moment. Welcome everybody to the, I hope the podcast lasts. Jesus Christ. Welcome to episode 3 of, Banana and Bears Rugby Pod. Is everything okay over there, Anna? The technology.
Yeah, the tech now. Okay, right. I'm on 13% battery, and I'd say my data is running out by the second. I've had a nightmare with my data the last, since I've been here, and I was in the shop ready to buy a French SIM card today. I was literally sitting down with your man, and 3 rang me saying they're putting me on a new plan and that they're going to give me more data. So I was like, right, okay, I don't need the SIM card. I ran out the place. So the new data is being activated till Wednesday, so I pray to God it gets us through this episode. Yeah, I'm down to 12% battery.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Right,
oh, Jesus Christ.
You do the intro there, and I'll move a bit closer to the plug.
I will keep talking until such time that you can actually plug in the fucking phone. Oh, Jesus Christ. Welcome, everybody. Thank you, everybody who did get in contact last week, of course. We did, and we promised, and we have a plan in place for, we are going to, because we've gotten messages. I got them from people in Cork the other night. I did a live podcast, and 2 people came up and said, loved Banana and Bear podcast, but we haven't a fucking clue what you're talking about. When are you going to do your How to Rugby? And we will be recording it. There'll be short little snippets. What do they call vignettes? Audio vignettes, I think they call them. And we will be doing them. They'll be punchy, no chat, straight into maybe 5 to 6 good basic groundings in what rugby is all about, so you don't sound like a complete knob wherever you're watching it. And we'll be cracking them on, because we're going to probably lash them out over the week prior to Ireland kicking off with their first game on the 9th, I think, against Romania. So we
a handful of days,
we've only a handful of days, so we do need to get those recorded. We made our notes on them, but we know what we're going to do. Like I said, we're going to do short vignettes on each one, maybe 15, 20 minutes each one, pump them out and do them out on a daily, just on the run up to the 9th for the Romania game. So people can have it in their back pocket and go, one second, and run to the toilet in the pub. What was it about fucking scrummage again? And come back in and go, yeah, that's the fucking loose head wheeling on that side, your lads. Do you know what I mean? So you'll sound class at the very least. Are we okay? Are we okay, Anna?
Is my sound all right there now? Because I had to take out the headphones to plug in the phone.
That's all right. No, you sound pretty good. You've come closer to it. You've got for anybody watching on the video, Anna looks great. She's got her do you remember Last of the Summer Wine? Do you remember that show? And there was
I never watched it, and I flicked past it every time.
You would actually enjoy it. It's such basic, brilliant, well-written old English comedy, but there's an old one in it. There's Nora Batty, and she wears hats like you have a towel put together on your hair, but you can old ones can get hats that are actually just that shape, and they sit on their head.
Yeah.
And she has always.
Yeah, didn't you run in Coronation Street wear one?
Yes, you're right. I feel underdressed already.
Yeah.
So to update anybody who has been keeping an eye on what's happening in the La Rochelle side of rugby and all the rest of it, you're right. The rumours are correct. Anna is joining Riverdance, and she's going to be lady/lord of the dance. It's the new Michael Flatley swooped. I wonder, did he chop her in his own, or did he fly? I can imagine him just coming bare chested on a rib at 50 miles an hour from Cork, coming down out of Middleton, finding a river, finding the sea, and then straight out across to France, bare chested.
Out of Fermoy, you mean? He's from Fermoy.
Is it? Oh, you're right. Sorry, it is. I passed the bloody place a couple of times. Yeah, you're right. Fermoy Mallow kind of road, isn't it?
That's it. She was only down the road from us. Do you know, I had a German teacher once when I was in Leaving Cert. Our German teachers swapped. We had an Irish lady who swapped to a German lady, and she came in and was teaching us, and she was asking us one day, what's the first thing you think of when you think of Germany? And we were like, I don't know, the Berlin Wall and this, and we asked her, what's the first thing you think of when you think of Ireland? And she's like, oh, it's Michael Flatley, of course. And we were like,
an American guy.
Yeah. And we were like, sure, he only lives down the road. And she was like, was? I live close to Michael Flatley? She couldn't believe it. She was
That's
delighted with
great.
herself.
That's a great German
Yeah.
accent. That's so that naive kind of.
I'll never
What?
forget it.
Was ist das?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, his place is up for 26 million. If anybody's thinking of
Yeah, we put our few pennies together. Do you know there's a beautiful video of him, like, was it with the intention to sell it, or made a little video of, like, yeah, it was just before he was selling it. He made a small little video of, like, going around the rooms. Jesus, he's done some fucking job on the place. But sure, it was in the movie. Did you see the movie?
do you know, I searched for it, right? We searched for it one evening. I was back early after a gig, and I went, do you know what? Let's watch Blackbird, this movie that he's in with. Is it Eric Roberts is in it with him, like? And
oh yeah,
it's we look for it, and we found the most obscure. You know, like when you're on the old dodgy box and you're looking for games, and there's like alien ones with tits and stuff flapping all over the place. These were the kind of movies that were popping up. There was like, and then. I don't remember. Did you ever get to and just go, Eric, you know what? Let's just watch this. And it was like this. I think it was like a parody. It was a parody, much like his Blackbird one. But it was a kind of a Spike Lee style blaxploitation James Bond black guy. And it was like, hey baby, and it was actually called Blackbird. And I remember going, Jesus lads, this is a bit on the nose, like the way you did it. But it turned out to be one of the best things I've ever seen. Like it was like Shaft meets James Bond, if you know what I mean. It was
I thought you were going to say it was like a parody of the Blackbird, like Michael Flatley's one. And I was like, no, like that was it.
My God.
That was the film.
Is it as good as it seems?
100 times better. Oh, it's just fucking Vera. I was prepared. I think you need to be prepared for nothing happening. Like nothing happens in it, and then it's just like it's just a bit bizarre, but there's something kind of enjoyable about it. Like, you know, if you were going in expecting like good, high quality, whatever, but you have to admire him for being, I don't know, ballsy just to make a film. Like, imagine sitting, I'm like, I'm going to make a film where I am James Bond. Do you know?
Yeah.
But like Castle Hyde looks lovely in it. Like, it's cool to have, you know, the Blackwater River and you know, shots from Fermoy in it. And then all of a sudden they're in like the Bahamas.
Yes.
And you're like, oh.
AKA Mallow.
Yes, yeah, they just moved down the road to Mallow, yeah.
It's the banana and bears rugby party.
No, do you know what? Well, I've been trying to get rid of this black eye. So there's a little, like, there's a good bit of scar tissue underneath it, but like the skin is still brown. I don't know why. And the gash in my leg, do you remember the big gash in my leg? That's still brown. And you know the worst thing? I can't remember if I told you this or not. The worst thing. So I had a grade 1 tear in my knee. Which is all right. I'm getting through it. Black eye, which is still discoloured. Infected like cut from the 4G on my leg, which is still discoloured. And the worst thing of all, my favourite freckle was scratched off.
What? You can scratch? Do you know what? That happened to me. I had a freckle on my calf, and it happened to me on a 4G pitch one time. And I thought it was some sort of, I had myself convinced that I didn't have it then. Do you know that kind of way? Maybe I didn't have that freckle.
Yeah. No. Where was it? Say it happened, yeah. It was right on my arm. So it wasn't from the 4G. It was like from someone scratching. Do you know, like just nails. You know, it was normal. Oh, like it used to. Now I know I'm not imagining it because
I
it was
had
my
the very same freckle.
Number one.
The very same freckle just there.
Oh yeah, but there was a big long black hair coming out of it, so the black hair is still there.
Had you given it a name? Had you given the freckle a name?
No, I hadn't. But it was like bumpy. So I'm so sad.
That'll be back. Freckle. Don't worry.
My arm looks so weird.
That'll be back. So now you just have one big old beaver fucking skiock growing out of your fucking...
Pube. My arm pube. Do you know what we were talking last week? Do you know what we were talking about last week about Russell?
Huh?
Do you remember Russell? What you call the man in the bush?
Yes, yeah.
So I swear I jinxed myself because there has been a Russell in every fucking bush I walked past here in La Rochelle for the last week, like I'd be cycling along, whatever it is, I don't know what kind of animal it is. There's tiny little lizards around, but they wouldn't be rattling the bush. Like, that's not Russell. There's something in like all of the bushes going like when I walk past, and I'm like, fucking hell.
There's somebody,
Russell.
Someone of our filthy-minded listeners is listening to this and hearing a completely different story than what's actually. So there's something fucking rustling in all the bushes I'm coming across, Tom, all week. Anyway, just to make people aware that because we didn't just immediately come to a full stop and go, we hate what we're saying there, let's just start talking completely about Anna's friction and her bruises. We had a technical glitch.
Yes.
Something
which I take full responsibility for.
Something exploded belonging to Anna. We're not fully sure, but the bomb squad have been in. It's full. They've cleared everything. It's okay. It's okay. She has been passed. She's not a terrorist. It's okay. But we're taking two on this one, and yeah, it did fucking hell. I was only just that I spotted the black mark on your eye that I hadn't seen yet last night. It was like, a new one from training, but clearly not.
Look bad. No, sure, I can't do any contact. A while because I'm riddled with injuries. I'm raging though. Do you know why? I'm fucking. Now last week I had kind of the same story now this week. I'm more shite, but like it's grand. This is just life for me now for a little while. I'm just struggling through it, but I'm fucking raging now tonight. Do you know why?
Well,
now people who watch us on the YouTube will notice that.
Last night, Nana K plus over there, not Anna, on the YouTube. You're on
the tube. That I was wearing my hair turban last night as well as tonight. My fucking hair washing regime is all out of kilter.
Why?
It's the second night in a row I've had to wash my fucking hair. Usually you don't have to wash it every night. Why
did you have to wash
it every night?
Why did you wash it again tonight?
Because I've been in the gym both nights, and I usually you'd be able to time it. Like if I washed it, I just haven't figured out like the new the new training week of training yet. So usually you can like work out which days to wash your hair or not, and I've had to wash it 2 days in a row now, and I'm raging. Because I hate washing my hair like that many days in a row. The only time I'd have to do it is if I was in like, a multi-day like Irish camp or a camp for rugby, and you train every day, so you kind of have to wash your hair every day. But what I do is I put a treatment into it. You'd train all day Saturday, and I'd wash it on the Saturday, knowing I'd have to wash it again on the Sunday. So I put a treatment into it, and it stays in all day, and then I wash it out on the Sunday. So that's good. That was really I had that down to a T, but I haven't figured out the French hair washing regime yet. So I'm fucking raging.
Do you know what? This is an insight that we never get to see, people, as you're listening to this. I feel so privileged because you never consider these little tiny, the minutiae that it is to play, a serious level rugby, that your hair needs to be minded, and overwashing will make it frizzy and dried out and brittle and all the rest of it we've seen on the ads because LKCI Immunitas or whatever's supposed to be inside in your book. I don't know what's supposed to be in your hair.
Isn't that the stuff in Actimel?
I don't know.
You actually put an Actimel into my hair.
Look I'd give it a go. It's not a problem that I run across too often myself personally, but I feel for you. I feel for you in that.
Yeah. Do you wash your hair every day?
No, I wouldn't.
Yours would go frizzy, I'd say.
I would listen. Tis only hanging on by the fucking.
Lose control of it. It's
only hanging on by a thread. It's only hanging on by a thread now at the minute, and it's only short now of just buzzing the whole fucking thing off and just be done to hell with the shagging thing. But it wouldn't be something I would do. I am I bathe our son because he's kind of a wild man in the bath. So he kind of does his own thing, but I'm kind of there beside because if my wife is anywhere near, but now there's hair, there's some head of hair. He has not inherited. He has inherited my wife's mother's hair. Oh my God, it is.
No way.
Oh Jesus Christ Almighty!
I'm up.
It is ludicrous with the hairdryer. How you can? I'm actually getting into right. I'd love to I'd love to start doing people's hair only by using a hairdryer, no products. How the shapes I can put it into. His hair, it's ridiculous. But yes, he's inherited a fine head of blondie hair, which yes, when my project this evening after it, never mind hair, he's actually 4 tomorrow, even though he had his birthday the other day. So I have to build a bicycle tonight.
Oh yes, Santa Claus coming.
Well, no, it is. I don't know. See who you think? No, he definitely knows it is us giving him this one, but I have to build a bike because this is all he wanted was a bike. So it's a bike with dinosaurs all over. Yeah, he's a bike with dinosaurs all over it.
What an amazing present.
Yeah, to wake up to dinosaur bike. Yeah. Do you remember them days when you'd wake up and all of a sudden there'd be something class given to you? You were like, well, this is eggs. I don't need to know about anything else in the world right now.
And you know what I remember distinctly as well is like getting a new toy, and then you go to sleep that night, and when you wake up then the next day and you rediscover it all again, it's like a new feeling of like, oh, I did get that toy.
Yes.
Unbelievable. And that feeling kind of goes on for about a week or so.
I can remember a fire truck. And then we had a dog that took a bite out of the side of it, but I was still okay with it. Fucking old dog. Speaking of fucking old dogs, before we move on to the rugby, I'm being terrorised by a neighbour's dog, and I can't work out which one it is. He ripped open the brown bin last night.
Oh no!
After our misadventure with the podcasts, my dog went ballistic outside the office here, and I went, for fuck's sake, that dog isn't around again, is he? Well, he ripped open the brown bin. I had it left out for the bin man. I know. I only discovered it this morning, the bastard.
Oh no, that's the worst bin to get ripped open.
It was fucking onions up the road. The bastard. What kind of a fucking bastard of a dog wants broccoli? He took it halfway up the fucking the stump of a broccoli and took it halfway up the road.
I'm a fan of a stump of broccoli now, I must say.
I know, but you're not a canine at the same time. The fucking Egypt. He left like a rake of beans after him that was in the brown bin. I don't know. He's just a fucking terrorizing bastard, that dog. And I can't figure out whose dog it is. Everybody has a dog here, and I can't figure out which, because he's elusive, the little fucker or big fucker, whatever he is. But my heart is absolutely broken. I think that'll be my next mission now, is to set up. I'll have to just go with full camo and just camp out and see can I trap him and give him a jolly good talking to.
Russell in the bush.
There you go.
I tell you. Can I tell you a bit of a brown bin story? I actually kind of can't believe I'm going to tell this, but this only happened to me.
Cue the point where I'll make this the clip for this episode.
Oh no, you definitely won't. No. You definitely won't. It only happened to me the other day. So it was during the heat wave, right? So
hold on. You had a heat wave. I forgot that. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, jeez, it's over now. Do you know I'm wearing a jumper? This is my first time in a while now wearing long sleeves.
Oh, God bless you. I'll light a candle for you at the weekend.
But anyway, go back to the brown bin story. So I'm living on the 4th floor, so I have the window open like all the time, and it's just me. So it's a little studio apartment. So it's just me, but I have like kind of a regular sized bin. So the bin takes a while to like fill up. And I was throwing like bits of, eggshells, and I don't even know if I had leftover food, but like, I don't know, must have been like banana skins and things like that in the bin. And took no notice. And went to put something into the bin, then like, I'd say the bin had been there like 2 days. Like, no, it wasn't smelling or anything. Like, I didn't notice anything amiss. Put my hand into the bin to like push down like whatever was like bit of plastic or whatever, and the bin was hot. And I was like, what the fuck? And I looked closer, and like 3 or 4 flies came out of it, like just when I like, the swingy thing at the top.
Yeah.
Just pushed down, I threw a few flies, and I was like, oh fuck, there's flies in the bin. Looked closer, took off the top of it. Maggots. Like, when I tell you, oh my God, like I can develop the story of so bad. Like if I could have power hosed down the whole place, I would have. But when you're on your own, then like if I was with someone, I would have been screaming. But you're screaming to yourself is no use.
Yeah,
So
you're
I
a mad
literally
person
had
then,
to.
yeah.
I just had to. Oh, like they were all over the bin lid. I don't know how it happened. Like
You
I
didn't
don't
throw
know.
you didn't throw protein in there, did you? By any chance? No, any protein form inside there? No, there wouldn't have been.
No.
Because I used to find out with protein shakes, like when it was warm weather,
No, I didn't
whatever
know.
flies are drawn to in protein shakes and protein based bars and stuff like that, they will lay eggs good. Especially when I lived in America, because that was just poison. Because there was always fucking flies everywhere. There'd be flies. Oh, jeez, the dirty bastards. But there was, if there was anything protein, but oh fuck, maggots in the bin.
No, because I drink my protein and then I wash the thing, so I wouldn't have thrown anything away.
No,
I think
no,
I
was only
don't.
just.
I don't know, and I don't know, but now I have I've been robbing the little vegetable bags from the supermarket so that I can
take
have
the full roll. They expect you to take that. I do that. Don't worry. They expect you to do that.
Yeah, so I can just get rid of any biomaterial the same day because I'm not having that again. It was unbelievable.
Oh, that's now.
I've never seen anything like it in my life.
In all fairness, if you text me this week and said, "Listen, Tom, I know I said I was having a tough time in La Rochelle, but I'm home now. Why, Anna?" And you sent me a picture. I go, I'll pick you up from the airport.
Fair enough.
I get it.
I realize I've made myself a fucking solid 9 out of 10 here, talking about the pube on my arm and the maggots in my studio apartment. So,
do you know what? It makes you attainable. That's what I call it.
Fucking damn right.
If anybody was ever threatened by the fact that you've played, premium level sports, they're like, I don't know, could I match up to that girl? Well, no, she's got a pubic arm and she's got maggots in the bin. She's my kind of lady.
She's got it all.
Beautiful. Hey, anyway, that's that. We've had a couple of weird days. I've had the dog. You've had the flies. You've lost your freckle. I've just been tearing around the place. I had an insane weekend of gigs. I was gigging in a lot in Cork. By the way, Cork is loaded. Richest county in Ireland. There is no pullback. There is no pullback. I was in Tower/Blarney Thursday night for a gig.
Mm-hmm.
I said, there's no way they'll fill this. It was well over 100 people selling the tickets at a decent price. There's no way. I walk into the venue, rammed, and I was getting
unbelievable.
I was there early enough, and I kind of went in and out, and they were queuing, and somebody came to the door, and they were letting me in. I could hear people, a woman at the door of the venue, kind of going, "Guys, we won't be open for another 10 minutes." "Oh, hi, Tom, in you come." And as I was walking past, normally when you're told 10 minutes before we open up, you go, right, okay, we'll be. I swear to God, about 20 people all turned around and went, "Shots on a Thursday night." I'm like, class.
Unreal. Where do they work?
This is the thing. Where do they work that Friday can just be a write-off? There was a good 20 of them all going, all right, shots it is then at 8 o'clock on a Thursday. It was like, lovely. Rammed the place. Could have sold it twice over. Friday night, I did a live podcast, my own show with Chris Kent in the Cocoa Club just above the Roundy. Rammed upstairs, rammed for my show. I did...
fair play to you.
Following about an hour later, I did a spot at the actual club, which was on afterwards to see. I'm trying out new material for the show. Fucking rammed out the door. Go down onto the street, every pub on a Friday night, people hanging out of it. Fucking.
Jeez, that's great. What is it like? End of the summer kind of vibes? Or...
I don't know. I tell you, there's a lot of bohemian looking people. Do you know what I mean? A lot of people with nose rings. But fair fucking play to them. They have money. Whatever software company or tech companies they're working for in Cork.
Yeah, that could be it now, all right.
So it seems to be all happening. There's 7 nights a week. There's comedy 7 nights a week now in Cork. 7 different venues. There's comedy 7 nights a week in Cork. Actually, 9 different venues. Place is pumping.
Class. I need to go.
Yeah, you need to come to stand up. You would, and within 3 seconds, your competitive edge will go, I want to do that. I guarantee it.
Jesus, no.
Yes, you will. I guarantee you will.
I absolutely wouldn't. No, because I don't like if I just stand up and be funny. No.
Yeah. But you are.
No.
And you do.
No, but I'm sitting down, you see.
Oh, fair. Oh, yeah. We could do that too. There's definitely that, like Dave Allen, just sit there. Or maybe, yeah, I bet I could get you to do a class 5 minutes. If I trained you, I bet you I could get you to do a class 5 minutes.
Jesus.
Just talk about hairy,
put that
freckly
on the long
arms.
finger.
Okay, I'm
Nobody
making
wants
a
to hear
note.
about my hairy, freckly arms.
Or sans freckle now, actually. Sans
I
freckle.
know.
That's so sad. That some absolute bastard ripped off your freckle.
Oh, scratched it
They did
off
that on
in the
purpose.
vessel. Yeah.
Anyway,
bastard.
that has been our wrap up. Let's jump into the rugby. Did you get to watch? Did you get to watch the Ireland match, Ireland Samoa?
I did. Late enough because it was French time, which is 9:00 here, and I actually, do you know what? I came home and into bed and watched it on my live stream because the thing is, when I watch games that late inside in town, I have to come home afterwards. It's like a 15-minute cycle. So I was like, do you know what? I'm going to go home and watch it inside in bed, and I'm glad I did because, it's nice you can really engage with it, especially with the announcement of the team coming up and just how kind of a weird game it was anyway. I'm glad I watched it at home inside in bed, hiding under the covers more than anything else.
I was trying to avoid it in lifetime, of course, but my comedy club is attached to a fucking sports bar, which has like it's some of the biggest televisions you've ever seen in your life playing this match. So I was just trying to walk past it when not looking. So I watched it when I got home, and I was glad because the 3 or 4 glimpses I had, I was like, "What the fuck? What the fuck?" I was looking.
No, it was underwhelming enough.
It was, but I'll tell you, I suppose something that popped into my head. And this is a weird thing, and I wonder, and I hope it isn't the case, but it popped into my head when I was driving. We were driving home after the club, full house, sold out, by the way. Fucking come on the hill. Great night with Chris Kent again. And another Cork comedian, Kevin O'Sullivan, shout out. He is not a man who's known enough about. He's fucking amazing. But I'm driving home and I'm going, I saw the result pop up on my phone, of course. And I went, I wonder, did some of those players already know that they weren't going to France? Because
I'd say they did.
Like, that's a tough one to, if you're feeling sorry for yourself a little bit, would you? Like, or is there a professionalism where you're like, well, fuck it now, I'll show.
No, there is a professionalism because you want to be like, everybody knows, even though it's it's shit. It doesn't make it any better, but everybody knows if there's an injury.
Mm-hmm.
Your approach to, being selected or not and showing up and showing if you're in form can mean that you might get to go to the World Cup and place with someone else. Like, it's going to happen. There's going to be injuries.
Jeremy Loughman.
Oh God, poor Cian Healy.
I know.
But also, I think you're right though, because wasn't the announcement was like, it'll be announced. The team will be announced on Monday morning, and then before the match, he said, actually, I'll announce it Sunday evening. So I'd say everyone knew at that stage.
Yeah.
What the scale was, but it was. Do you know what it reminded me of? What year did we play Georgia in our pool? 2007?
7? Yeah, I think it was actually. Yes, yeah. I remember it when they'd overtrained the shit out of them. Yeah.
Yeah, with Georgia in our pool, and I remember, like, especially when you're young, I felt sorry for the young fans of Ireland now who aren't as into it as we. They just, Ireland are number one, yeah, so they know that you're the best, or at least among the best, and like you come up against a team like Samoa, and you're like, what the fuck, I remember that feeling so well when we played Georgia in 2007. And I think Ireland had a really strong opening to the game. Did we score a try very quickly, really similar to the other night?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember feeling, me and my brother and sister sitting on the couch feeling really sorry for Georgia, and we started shouting for Georgia because, we wanted a competitive game, but we were we started going, Georgia, 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 and just, didn't want them to win or anything. We just wanted, we've just felt sorry for them. And after a while, Georgia started fucking pounding Ireland. And we were like, not even heard us, but just the fact that we were shouting for them because we thought there was absolutely no possibility that this could ever happen at all.
Yeah.
And that's what reminded me of the Samoa game now. I was like, it's that feeling of what the hell? and I get it from a Samoa point of view. I get it from an Ireland point of view. Very tentative place to be. The squad is about to be announced. If you go over on your ankle, something so simple, you fuck up your whole career. You could fuck up your whole rugby career and miss a whole World Cup. Your first or your last or your middle or whatever. So I get it from both sides. And then Samoa are like, fuck it, we're here now. We want a bit of momentum and stuff like that. So, you can rationalize it a bit more when you're older, but I was literally thinking of the young fans of Ireland being like, Mommy and Daddy, what's happening?
But in all fairness, this was on the cards from a long way out. These island teams, as we knew, they're the best athletes in the rugby world, like these island people, but now they're getting left to go back home. Do you know what I mean? Like Malachi
Fakatawa. I wrote
Fakatawa.
about it in my column this week. Yeah, my Evening Echo column
yes,
which will be
out
today. That's kind of what I was focusing on, basically making that point. And there's very interesting players. It's not just the player pool is bigger. The player pool has been opened to experienced, well-versed players who it's not their first World Cup. They your man, the prop who played for New Zealand, won a World Cup in 2015 with New Zealand, has 50 caps for the All Blacks, and now is a member of that squad. That's no other countries really have gotten that, a gift of very experienced players. Now, I'd be reading a lot on Twitter and people's reactions and stuff, and there was a few groaning Michaels, which there always are.
Mm-hmm.
A few moaning Michaels saying taking the place of the people who really deserve it, and we shouldn't be accepting these players. You made your bed and lie in it, kind of a thing. But those players, I don't know. I think it's point, up to reading those points, up to reading those those kind of comments. I thought it was a really positive thing. But obviously, there's two sides to every story as well, and some people will see it that way.
Look, if they were honest with themselves, they'd say what was going on with the islands was fucking wrong this last 20 years. Setting up academies over there and just fucking rinsing them for their best boys and girls, taking them over and they maybe getting one cap. Ethan Nasewa never got to play again couldn't play for anybody after he had won half a cap for New Zealand. Do you know what I mean? He would have gone back to, I think it was Tonga, I think is where he, an incredible player.
Okay, yeah.
But you look at somebody like John Cooney, who hasn't gotten a look in fucking forever, 5 years, 6 years, and now America are looking at him. Why shouldn't he go? Do you know what I mean? Why shouldn't he be allowed to sign? Because that's, if you're kind of wondering what we're on about, if you have been picked once upon a time, if you got a cap for fucking 25 minutes on a team, that was you tarnished for life. Even if you were never ever picked again, you could never go to play for your home country. Which, if you go to Australia and New Zealand, you see a lot of, I suppose, island-based or island origin people, Pacific Island origin people end up playing for or whatever. But they might only get one look around the hedge and they put a cap on their head and that's it. Fucked. You can't go back and play for. That rule changed. If you haven't been picked, is it 3 years or 4 years?
3 years. And you have to, yourself or your mother or your father or your grandmother or your grandfather has to have been born in that country. So it's not like the residency rule where if you live somewhere for 5 years, you can play for that country. No, it has to be, if you're going to play for a second country, it has to be because of your roots. So you can't just go and then play for any other country in the world. It's because you want to kind of go home. You're kind of your rightful country that you maybe should have, been selected for day one.
Like John Klein. John Klein playing out of his skin and he'll come back to Munster twice the player. He's playing out of his skin for South Africa at the minute. Do you know?
Yeah.
If we do get him back. But,
I know.
Everyone
was raging at. Yeah.
I think he's a house bought and everything now. So you're Morgan and everything in Limerick. So yeah, he has to come home to it so much. And I think that he considers himself a Limerick man or what. But anyway, it was. I wasn't overly surprised. Now, I think it was kind of naive of Ireland, and I don't think they were showing their full hand either. It was a disjointed team, and most of those players won't. And most of those players won't start either. But it was a disjointed team. But trying to keep your hand back without showing too much, like the line out, they dirtied that line out. There's no way Ireland's line out under Paul O'Connell is that shite. I don't care what people are. There's not a hope. There's no way our scrum under John Fogarty is that shit either. But
Yeah.
it does go to show what the platform the scrum is, because we were getting minced in the scrum, which was given an unbelievable impetus to Samoa. Like.
And the players weren't exactly happy with it either. You know, like you still have a point to prove, you know, like those kind of second string players, you know, like Finley Beelum or like that front row came up at one stage and they were all shaking their heads, you know,
You get some refs, I think, who haven't a fucking clue what they're looking at either. That's the that's an unfortunate.
Yes, that's part of it too. But I actually, that's part of my column as well about like how do you actually prepare for these games? Like fucking New Zealand receiving the worst defeat they've ever had in a warm-up game just before the World Cup's about to start. Like these games are absolutely bizarre. Fiji beating England, even though that's kind of deserved. Just like mental results and like the red cards, players getting banned, players not getting banned. It's just such a
I'm loving
affair.
the drama of it though. It's brilliant drama.
Yeah, it is only that I just feel so devastated for the players who miss out on a World Cup then, or potentially could miss out on a World Cup. But there's some very foolish stuff going on, like the tackling. We spoke about it last week, so I won't get into it again. But like, it's just, I'm glad they're fucking over, is my point. I'm glad the warm-up games are over because I couldn't take any more of splitting in and out and not sure if it's your best hand or not, or is their line out shit? Like to lose in every fucking line out. Well, Samoa certainly will have been like, no, we don't. You know, we're taking that as it is. You know, they're going to take every bit of confidence from that they deserve.
I was watching, and it might have been, and I wasn't trying to be cynical while watching it, but there was a lot I think the ref was letting go when it came to Samoa anyway, especially like they were dirtying the ball at the ruck, something fierce, like throwing an out snaky hand in, grabbing Murray's hand. When you watched it close, you're like, what if that was Ireland versus England, that'd be a much tight. Like it was almost like your man, the ref, had one fucking the car started outside the fucking gate, like, and was nearly ready to, it was like, are you not spotting this? Yeah. I'm not buying the line out though. I'm not buying that our line out has suddenly gotten shit. I can't. They were given their calls must have just been telegraphed. It had to be because why wouldn't you? Just gotta fuck it. Give the most basic calls, because you know as well as anybody how much detail opposition spend. Like second rows are complete nerds. They will watch hours and hours of their oppositions. And why wouldn't you?
I hope you're right. And I don't want to think that, because I'm scared to hope now, because it gave me the feeling of
every other
World Cup's gone by. Yeah, that's the feeling I got. I'm sad to say, but I'm willing to keep it locked away until it really needs.
Yeah, suspend that. Go back to being that child again, that giddy jumping up and down on the sofa for the cracked child, like I am.
For Georgia.
But
speaking of Georgia,
sorry. So no, go ahead.
Speaking of Georgia, they've moved into our dressing room in Stade Rochelet. So we've moved out of it. We've no dressing room currently. We have to use some shitty ones out the back. I haven't been in there yet. We've been moved out so they can use our dressing room as a cryotherapy suite. I'll send you a picture of it.
Those giant fucking square humans from Georgia.
Yeah. They're training in Stade Rochelet.
I'd be pure ignorant about you. I'd go and start talking out anyway. Fuck keep eyes. Fuck off.
I'd be inside in the cryo bath, like, well,
out of eyes. Yeah. So Georgia are in what do you call it? Stade Rochelle?
Stade Rochelet is the name of the club.
Oh, sure, I did the pure croissant there, didn't I?
Stade Rochelet.
Yeah, you got to really get. I wonder how many. And this is again a cynical but business-minded head. I wonder when you look at Fiji and Samoa, some of these players that maybe weren't known but turned up like absolute fucking tigers at the weekend, like that scrum half. Fucking hell, what's he? He's fucking like, he is absolutely rabid. That Samoan scrum. I wonder how many are putting their hands up for how many clubs back in UK, Ireland, and are sitting back going,
100%.
because if you're back in Munster right now and you've nothing to do with the World Cup, and you're let's say Graham Rowntree, or you're Stuart whatchamacallit's gone, Leo Cullen, you're not out with the checkbook going, oh, hold on one fucking second, who's this by? He's fucking 19 stone, he can fucking run down the wing like a sprinter. Let's get a hold of him.
Yeah, agreed. You would be. Damn right. A lot of Islander names on this Georgian team as well.
Is there though?
There is, yeah. So
that's a lot. Georgia's a long way from the islands.
Tis, but there's a lot of you do get handfuls of Islander players that go further than just Australia and New Zealand. If we look at Virimi Vakatawa.
Of course,
Fijian that would have played for France. There's a lot of them still around the world, but I suppose if you kind of are aware of your level and you just kind of want to play rugby, you'd go to somewhere like Georgia and take a professional contract there and just play there, and then all of a sudden you're eligible. It's kind of the surplus of players that they have. Same with the South Africans.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah,
giant fucking second rows and back rows at South Africa. Yes, makes sense if you want to make a business decision of it. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was wanting to know, how did you feel about the overall selection? I know one of us had to start talking. We were both being very fucking polite there.
No, good. Yeah, nothing too crazy.
Jimmy O'Brien quite lucky.
Those players. I thought he was very good. What weekend? Who did we play?
We played England.
Did he play against England? No, we had.
No.
Didn't we have another game? It was just England. That's who I'm thinking of. That's the game I'm thinking of. So, I know he made a couple of mistakes, but I was still really impressed with him. Like, mistakes are normal, kind of. I just overall I thought he was really good. I think, I'm delighted for him. I
love Mac Hansen's pass back inside. Hansen, it was wide open in front of him. He could have just skidded on in over the line.
Yes.
It was nearly like, go on, kid, in you go.
Oh, lads, Mac Hansen, what
He's
a ledge bag.
He's an absolute fucking legend. And in all fairness, when it was all being a bit messy and a bit scrappy and fucking around the place, I loved the word Jack Crowley just whipped around and went, here we go, give me that ball, and just snapped it out in a crossfield. It was just very cool. It was very cool.
Yeah.
Ireland are playing some cool rugby at the moment. Like there's, like
but they've been even those players have been playing better than they did on Saturday. Do you know, I'd agree with that now. Like some cool moves, some really comfortable connections, but they still didn't play that well on Saturday. I wasn't.
Do you think they were like you as the child, and were they jumping up and down before the match going, I hope they give us a good game? Because we knew nothing about Samoa before this. We had nothing to see. Just not like they play in, a Six Nations.
Lima Sopoanga. Yeah. Jesus. He's unbelievable.
Fucking hell. Yeah,
he was good for New Zealand too, but the conveyor belt of players there just makes it hard for someone to really put their stamp on something. So I thought he was unbelievable. There was one kick, did a bit of a banana kick, and the commentators were like, "Oh my God!" It's unbelievable, that kick, he did a few things like that. Yeah, he's some string puller for them. But anyway, I am not going to get too bogged down in the match either, because we don't know exactly. We're here saying it's just such a hard balance to strike a warm-up game. Like, what do you do? So I said this it's what I was writing about. It was so for a warm-up game, are you better off losing massively, so it kicks your whole into gear, losing narrowly, so you kind of you grind it out, but you kind of get rid of complacency, winning narrowly, so you again kind of grind it out, learn some lessons, and that could have gone either way, or win massively, so you get massive roll of confidence. There's no right answer. Any of those formulas could work.
And they have worked in the past.
It just depends on how you react and what you take and what you throw into the bin with the maggots, into the brown bin.
And today's episode will be brought to you by the brown bin. It's you're so right though. It can go like we've seen England. Oh, 2007. We were playing some of the brutal, and even got an awful. Was it 2007 or was it 2015? They got a fucking unmerciful hiding by South Africa, and ended up playing South Africa in the final. No, it was 2007. Do you know they got beaten something like 36-0 or something, and just went, right, fuck this. Let's just keep it safe up the Jersey boys.
But that's it, yeah, because they're the same players.
Yeah,
like it's the same bunch of players. That's like, you know, the England of now, the England of last weekend are losing to Fiji. They're the same players they're world class players, like, you know, and it's really hard. It's really hard to judge England. Again, I was reading some threads about England. So England lost to Fiji for the first time at the weekend, for those who didn't know, and like it's kind of a surprise result because Fiji are always underdogs, like tier 2, even though, like we say, they've some of the best players in the world. But like someone was basically arguing online saying like the Premiership is undercooking the players because it's getting too, I don't know. It's basically, you know, when I moved to Harlequins, I remember being like, oh, you're back in like the Champions Cup, and they were like, "Oh right, are we?" Like they They don't give a fuck about the European Cup. Like I know Exeter won the European Cup there a couple of years ago. Saracens have won it, but that's pure luck, really, and it's their momentum from the Premiership. They don't go head to head, toe to toe with other European teams, so it's actually really hard for them to know where they stand.
That's very British, actually, isn't it? When you think about it, it's a very English thing to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Listen, just keeping the pant. Even though they were in Europe, they went, we got to hang on to the pant. You know what I mean? That's such an English thing to do, and then come out the other side going, are we not good enough?
Yeah, but it's like I was again reading a thread on fucking, I don't know, Instagram or something last night, where it was like, do you know, in America they say like the World Championships, but it's just in America. Yeah. So you know, and then they're all like, of course we'd be the world champions because we're so much better than everyone else. It's like, yeah, but that's not the point. Like the point is that you play everyone else in the world to prove that. And like, yeah, but we're better anyway. And it's like, there's no point in playing them. So that's what the English Premiership is like, I reckon.
Yeah. But I mean, you have a collection of incredibly good players, and I mean, they strung, what was it, 19 or 20 games together at one stage. They were on a streak not fucking 3 years ago, and a lot of those players are the same people. Now, not to take anything away from Fiji looked class. They looked class, but then there was one or two tries you're like, oh, that's just basic shit defending. Like there was one close to the line where he was a captain, he was a winger, and he cut back inside, amazing dreadlocks. But he offloaded, and it was the most basic offload ever to a chap with a brilliant mullet. But there was nothing on the pillar of the ruck. Like there was nothing. There was 2 meters of a gap.
But that's so weird. Like those players do that week in, week out at the Premiership. Like you'd get punished for that in the Premiership. Yeah. So it's weird. They haven't hit their stride at all. Whatever the fuck they're up to, but
write them off with your pearl, though. Write them off because they all know how to come together. These bastards, they all know how to get it together for a World Cup. They all know. Yeah. They're like, all right, we're in camp. And a lot of it, I was reading, I don't know who said it, they were talking about why they thought South Africa were going to win the World Cup. And they said there's because of one thing and one thing only. Like it or love it, they know exactly what they're about. Big, aggressive South Africa. And it's all about us, and it's all about us against the world. And they have one train of thought. And I mean, my argument with that was like, yeah, but we still fucking beat you last time we played. You know what I mean? Like, I get it, but they're
not infallible either.
No.
But yeah, I'm sorry. This is what I was going to say a second ago. I can't remember if I don't think I said this to you, but I was chatting to someone from South Africa about, South African rugby and how interesting it is, and the schools and the production lines they have there. And he was saying, like, why isn't South Africa the best team in the world, like hands down? It's like, how come Ireland is better? How come, the All Blacks are better? So at the time, this is a couple of weeks ago, they probably could be very much the best in the world. We'll find out in the next few weeks and months. But he was basically saying, like, in South Africa, it's really hard to get a core group of players because you have so many players coming out of schools, like much more than any in any other country. You know, it's like not up to scratch next, no, not good enough next, no, next, and like there's a production line. So actually, like working with a player, do you know, you've decided to invest in a player.
Yeah.
You know, like in Ireland, for example, where, you know, yeah, we've got a good production line, but not like in South Africa, where, you know, you've picked your group, you're going to stick with them and you're going to fucking find out what makes that player tick and find out how to get the best out of him instead of wasting your time on him and just, you know, going to the next school, going to the next academy. Like, you know, so that's difficult for South Africa because there's too much temptation in other young, talented fucking players.
I always thought that Craven Week that they have sounded cruel on kids. Like it's basically it's like the combine for the NFL. You show up if you've got it and you play for the week, and they're just cutting young fellas. You're like, at 17, 18, there might be a spark, and somebody with a good eye will see it. But if you're not hitting the numbers, out you fucking go. You're like, okay, but
I'd say that's in Stellenbosch, is it?
Stellenbosch, yeah, and they have obviously Gray's College as well, and a couple of more. But that's really interesting that you're just cut. Fuck you, you're out. Where there's sub academies here, there's probably sub academies. You've got East Munster, like I know about, you know, playing with East Munster and stuff. There was East Munster. Do you know what I mean? Like, and then,
but that means like you'd be so afraid to make a mistake but everyone knows, and you know, this is something that, you know, society today tries to like foster, is that mistakes make you a better person and a better player. But if you have too many options, you pick the ones that don't make the mistakes. So the ones that are not so resilient. So I think, you know, probably Erasmus has a different approach to this. You know, he very like, I think they love each other. Like that team, like really loves each other, and like he fosters that and he forges that, and like they, my God, they're unbelievable. Like Sia Khaleesi is something else. Like
I need to talk about Sia Khaleesi.
Let's talk about him for a while.
Look. This is not a rumor mill. This is just Tom being a cynic. Okay.
How did he recover so quickly from the injury?
That man it can't be done. It can't be fucking done. I don't believe you can be. What did he blow out his ACL? Was it his ACL? He blew out
ACL
less than 4 months ago, and played like he's played in the last 2 games with that ferocity, like charging, like running back, catching ball, like charging back to catch a ball faster than the fucking winger. Now, this is where I'm going to piss you off. Don't fall out with me. But right now, the French authorities are testing everybody. And Yanti's just tested for a growth hormone, same as Reese Webb just tested for a growth hormone. If you need to recover faster than anything, and you don't get, in certain sports that don't test, like certain fightings, like K1 in Japan, kickboxing, they don't test. If you need to be back in 3 months after blowing out your ACL, that's what you fucking do. And you get a masking agent. I'm not saying he absolutely did, but if I wanted one of the greatest, most inspirational captains in the world to be back on my team before the World Cup, magically, I would be looking to fucking space and Elon Musk, asking what can you do to get that man's leg back right. The way he was running, I fucking love him. I love him. But I can't buy that that's honest all the way. That leg coming back like that, blowing out your fucking ACL. I can't buy it. I cannot buy it. I've seen it too many times with fighters that I used to fight with. See the ACL, you're gone for 6 months. You ain't sure shit are not coming back playing like that. Not minding himself in any way and able to run at full tilt. And let's be honest, Craven Week, we know what happens in Craven Week. Munster had a player who got caught and got sent back to fucking South Africa. There was a big uproar over it. And now all of a sudden the French lads are starting to pick up, because the masking agents they're using sometimes don't work. There's some of those boys are coming back too fast. I can't buy it.
I honestly think that
Elon Musk
was found out, if Sia Khaleesi was found out to have done that, it would he would be so, like, the people of South Africa would be so fucking devastated
Oh yeah,
that he was a liar and a cheater. I don't think he would take that risk. Honestly, I don't.
It's probably my cynical brain. Okay.
No, but I think that cynical brain is completely fucking fair because it's defying logic, number one, and South Africa have a reputation for it, number two, which is sad for them.
It's
sad
right
for
before
them
the World Cup to get it that level of perfect. Like he's running faster than he was before he got fucking injured.
But it's not impossible either.
No,
like
it's not. It
can be done. So it's unfair that if you are a player that like does everything by the book and literally fucking works your whole off to achieve something, and then people doubt you because of kind of the tradition of what, you know, how your country and rugby players have behaved in your country before, it's not fair. And I honestly don't think he'd risk it.
You're probably right.
I just don't think. And his family, his wife, his kids, like they would be disgraced. Like it means everything.
Yeah,
to them,
there'd be no living in South Africa as a result. Like
no. Like I hear you, but I'm gonna say no. That
I'm hoping
he is as amazing as we think.
I'm hoping.
And,
do you know what? You are probably right, and it possibly is a miraculous. It probably is a miraculous. Maybe he's just got unbelievable healing powers, which Robbie Henshaw used to have. But I mean, that clock runs down too. Like, but
look at Sia Khaleesi, like
he's superhuman. Like he is. He's
what
superhuman.
An athlete. He's unbelievable, and he's like positive, and you know for a fact he'll have done.
That was some choice of words, actually, after defending him. And he's positive. He's testing positive all the time.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
No, I get it.
I just love this negative energy from you guys.
It's fucking bloody idiot. Anyway,
what time is it?
We've done. Oh God, yeah, we've about 15 minutes left, about 10 minutes left. So yeah, South Africa looked scary good. They looked scary good. Then again, New Zealand looked off the pace, which is weird. They were a little bit on the sloppy side.
So were Ireland. Ireland and New Zealand the same bag of shite.
Yeah.
Same bag of maggots.
Weird kicking in their 22 and stuff. It was like, all right, but which is very un-Joe Schmidt like to be kicking inaccurately and stuff like that. And discipline is very much a Joe Schmidt thing, which he obviously has his hand up the back of the All Blacks at the minute, so I'm surprised by that. But again, I think a lot of these teams are fucking playing possum. I think a lot of them are just throwing out, go on, we're pure shit, we're don't be looking at us at all, we're pure ugly. And all of a sudden, you remember like in the teen movies when the friend who was never looked at, but she was always a freak with glasses and ponytails, and then at the very end she took off her glasses and ponytails, and she was just gorgeous. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen with fucking England.
Tell me about it, stud. do.
Yes, that's it. That's exactly it. Yeah. That's what's going to happen with fucking England. They're going to be some gorgeous hottie come like the semi-finals going, oh my God, I can't believe we're still friends. Jesus, she dumped you again. Let's get you out of those wet clothes. All those cliche lines from 80s and 90s teen and romance movies. That's what's going to happen. And out of nowhere. Yeah, I know it. I'm telling you they're not. French, I mean, what do we say? I mean, come on, like. Fucking, very good. I think we're looking at Sia Khaleesi is probably, one of the most enjoyable, feel good, oh my God, class, I wish I was his neighbour players. But I think we might be, if at the time we were looking at Dan Carter's and a bit earlier than that, Johnny Wilkinson's gone, this is the greatest player that's ever played the game. Antoine Dupont is the greatest player that has ever played the fucking game. Yeah. Chipping off his right, chipping off his left, and into Dante's, like, fuck off. Like, Dante, the guy doesn't even look like he's stressing. Like, come on. Yeah. Penno at one stage, he got the ball all gammy. Did you see that bit at all?
Yeah.
And he got, normally a player would just shovel it on. He got the ball, it had bobbled around his hands, but he looked like a fellow who was just going, I will just caress this ball until it just steadies in the palms of my hands.
Yeah.
and still
Yeah,
seem to have
absolutely.
fucking time to then just loft out a beautiful pass.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm kind
It's
of,
like they're on jet skis.
I kind of have a bit of a crush on some of the French players, to be honest. It's like, come on, you can't just be that class, just gliding around the field like.
They're gonna have some World Cup. They're gonna fucking love it. Jesus, that first fucking game. Actually, New Zealand playing France in the opening game of the World Cup, and someone there was selling tickets online. I saw someone offering tickets, and I was like, geez, I'd nearly go to that.
Yeah.
And going down to Bordeaux, even though I wouldn't, I go down to Bordeaux to see Ireland, hopefully, if I can. But I was thinking, I was like, that's the fucking game to be at. Like,
the festivities, the fucking buzz. Like,
even though you'd be a bit more excited about it now if New Zealand played a bit better. But like, I think I just want to forget about these warm-up games. They're a pain in the hole. I actually don't like them at all.
Because they did. This is what a good movie does. It takes you one way completely, scatters all your notions that you thought you had, these preconceived notions you had about the storyline, and then all of a sudden,
twist.
Heading into the second act, it just starts to fucking twist into, oh my Jesus. Because on all the hype, and I got myself very hyped up looking at some of the French players and going, they look fucking amazing. But there's something in me. I think France are going to shit the bed. I don't know what it is. I think they've had.
I know what it is.
I think they've had their arses talcum powdered for the last fucking 7 or 8 weeks, going, you are beautiful. Why don't we just smoke a couple of luxury cigarettes and just play amazing rugby?
Yeah. What do I always say? The one thing you can't take away from the French is
croissants. What?
Close.
The opinion of themselves?
That they are French.
Yes. Yeah.
I always say it. So the same, can be applied for, like, there's no formula for approaching this World Cup. Like, literally all bets are off. Same thing you could say, no one knows which was the right approach until the result has come out. So anyways, it's all bullshit. So same with the French, like, we're all there, and you're right, like, France this, France that, and oh my God, they're unbelievable. Like, but they could go literally north, south, east, or west at any stage of their careers at any time, regardless of what point of their career they're at. Like, in terms of, like, confidence, continuity, shit in the bed. Like, they could turn up any which way at all times.
Yeah, I mean,
French.
Here's the thing: people just have it in their head from the readings and stuff. Will go, well, it's their tournament to lose, damn near, because they're at home. You're like, hold on to fuck. They're playing New Zealand up first. Like, there is no gimmies with fucking New Zealand, and it's a World Cup where New Zealand are coming to play for the love of. It's
going to be so good.
Oh Jesus Christ! It's going to be class. Okay,
I can't wait.
Opening game, interesting. We won't talk about the boring fucking way we announced our team. God, wasn't Mick Carney fucking just read it off a fucking printout? You're like, Christ above, could we not have an Irish wolfhound bring it in his mouth? Could we not have something? Yeah. I was like, can we not?
Whale coming in a ship.
Fionn McCool on the back of 2 fucking wolfhounds just coming in swinging a sword and chops the table in half, only to reveal a giant salmon of knowledge. And the salmon turns around and starts. The salmon of knowledge starts telling us the team. How class would that be? If the salmon of knowledge.
And then Mac Hansen comes in and, like, bursts the bubble on it and tastes it.
And Finnegas behind, aka Andy Farrell's like, oh, I've been looking for this salmon all my life. And Mac Hansen's like, I guess I'm the fucking manager now.
Yeah. And then Andy Farrell stays at home and Mac Hansen, like, calls the orders, like, from the pitch.
Yeah.
Playing.
Player manager, player coach.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I that way anyway.
Do you know what? That was probably the most psychedelic shit we've just come out with ever. And I think we came up with 10 times the idea in 10 seconds that Ireland did. It was so boring and it felt so deflating that he didn't know it off. Like, if you got to make a note, put it on the back of your hand, Mick. Don't read it off like you're fucking reading out an under-12s fucking medal give out. Like, come on. You know every one of these players, like, come on.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, so many players did so many teams did cool things where they got like, Tonga had like people from each of the villages, like kids and like old ladies and like the fella
amazing.
in the shop, gorgeous way of doing it. Like imagine that. Like,
That's
and
an
another thing
amazing way of doing it.
another thing I thought of actually, because I was writing about the island teams this week. I was just looking at Tonga's like team announcement, and like they have the name of the player and then their village next to them.
Stop.
So I was like, oh fuck, like imagine you could do that in Ireland, like what town or what village you were connected to, that you're from or your parents are from, or which Irish town you identify mostly with. Wouldn't that be lovely? And then get people from that town to like shout out your name when it comes to the
Oh
video.
my God. Or, even adopted lads, like we'll say Mac Hansen just takes Portumna or something like that, just goes, fuck it.
But
Or
he'll
Tune.
have, Irish roots there as
Yeah.
well. Or like, Bundy, like in Galway, like he's so closely connected to Galway, and like, where your roots are or where you feel like is home, or,
Oh, that would have been. God, we left ourselves down big style with that, actually, didn't we? We put no pomp or ceremony into it.
That frustrates me as well. I really liked Australia's, the way they dressed up to come when they were leaving. They had like the Aussie hat and like a lovely blazer and stuff. And I always thought that about our number ones. I actually had when I was playing for Ireland, I had this like all written down, load of ideas around, like I was kind of put in charge of like cultural stuff. And anyway, none of it fucking materialized because there was roadblocks everywhere. But like, I really wanted us to change our number ones. So the number ones is the suit you wear after the game.
Yeah, and we're just going to have to explain this.
I don't know. I never had number ones other than in rugby, so I didn't know if it was a rugby thing or not.
I don't
it's
know.
Not a rugby thing,
That's
is
all,
it?
I only ever knew it to be a rugby thing.
Okay, so I really
it's
wanted
typically
our
your
number
blazer,
one.
your suit after the match. Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't need to be like blazer. Like I really want us to get like Aran jumpers.
Yeah.
And like get them made by some like small craft worker, and like take a bit of us like to the World Cup. Sure, then we didn't qualify for the World Cup anyway, but that was my plan. That's what I wanted to do, like for the team, and like write to these like Aran jumper producers and like other manufacturers of like Irish produce, and get them to give you a piece of Ireland when you go to a World Cup. Like that's what Australia did, with their hat. And like you can be sure the island teams have, been given a big send off, and they're given bits of traditional home to bring with you and hang up on the wall when you get to your room. And I wonder how much effort like the Irish you put into that for the players.
I mean, Andy Farrell does seem to be quite thoughtful. He seems to be quite
I
thoughtful.
agree.
So I hope maybe they're just not maybe they're not just not fucking telling us, keep it to yourselves, boys. But this is for us, right? We keep it. I hope.
Yeah,
but
I'm sure there is that.
That's a brilliant idea, is to get a small. I never understood. Like Eden Park were making their suits for so long, and I get it. Okay, they're a rugby fucking, but they're a French fucking crowd. Do you know? You're kind of going. Could you not have found a suit maker here in Ireland that could make fucking handmade shirts, handmade fucking everything for it? You know what I mean? Like, because
and there's a story behind it, and there's a history, and there's an Irish family, and there's a bit of home that you can bring with you. Yeah.
Yeah, it left me very, very unenamored when I just saw, and they just reading it out so flat, and you're like, okay, all right, fair enough. That's all we're getting. Not in you on the back of a fucking red setter.
We did ask for it.
God,
and Maura Higgins, Maura Higgins in an Aran jumper.
Yeah, that's what we want to fucking say.
Could have been Michael Flatley as well. Maura Higgins and Michael Flatley, what a combo.
And the
that
two
would be a duo.
The two Johnnies should actually write a song, because they used to write them for Tip the whole time, Tipperary, when they get further along. Or that lad, do you remember that lad? He wrote one for McGregor, and I think he wrote one for the last World Cup. He was a ukulele player.
Yes.
Mick Constantine was his name. I wonder, will he be commissioned? Do you know what? Fuck him.
Go on.
Do you know, I know somebody with a ukulele.
Yes.
And I went, okay, it may have a dent from a floor in Schiphol Airport in the side of it,
Oh, yeah.
You have to write a song. You have to.
Okay. Think about it.
Crossing it with, okay, here's the bed you will have thought process underneath it. Tie it in with Irish mythology, stories of Irish mythology. Children of Lear, Gráinne Whale, Fionn McCool. Who else we got?
Maura Higgins.
Yes. Yeah. Maybe Hector.
Yeah.
Hector Huckagon as well. Rosa Tralee.
Yeah.
Can we call her Housewife of the Year awards? Just
Marty Whelan.
Yeah. Marty Whelan's moustache. Yeah.
Yeah. I think about it now.
I'm telling you, it'll go viral. Nobody's done it yet. Let's do it. This could be your Christy Moore moment. I could be your tour manager, and we could just go around Ireland singing this for the next 20 years.
Yeah.
Remember Horselips? They did so well with our Italian 90. This could be our Horselips moment.
Oh, yeah. I'll think about it. I'll certainly think about it. But need to fucking dry my hair first.
So that, I mean, there obviously there was other games around the world and all the rest of it, but nothing that interests us beyond the fact that, okay, starting off, how do we go with Johnny Sexton? Really is the most interesting thing hanging around the Irish story at the minute. Everybody else kind of slotted in. He hasn't played in yonks, but he is viable to play now for Romania. What do? Do you bring him on last 30? Do you start him for the first 50?
I'd bring him on and then play him against Tonga.
Get a bit of run into the legs and get a few slaps in against Tonga.
Yeah, I think so. Or do the same. Would you start maybe both games, first half, both games? It's a tricky one.
Because I mean, you'll learn nothing, I suppose, in the last 30, other than he'll get a bit of running. But you want him to
depends on the fucking game.
Yeah, true. Yeah. I mean,
Could
Romania
we wins against Romania yet?
Yeah, I know. But Romania have been fucking utterly terrible of late. They've been fucking terrible.
Yeah.
As
I know, yeah.
But then again, do you know what? To get a fucking big old shot of giddy up for the World Cup. What did you make before I let you go? Before I let you go, Anna, what the fuck did you make of the 7-1 split on the bench for fucking South Africa?
For South Africa.
Now, we will be explaining, we will be doing our little audio vignettes. So I think we'll have to record a couple of these next week. Little short ones, 15 minutes and stuff.
Very quickly, you have eight forwards on the bench, and you should, like, traditionally people go with 3 backs and 5 forwards, and fucking Razzie goes 7 forwards and 1 back. And I was
rogue bastard, isn't he?
In the moment, I was loving it. Like, seeing them all getting ready to come on the pitch, I was like, oh, the bomb squad, like, and they were fucking ready. Like, they were loving it as well. I was loving it for them. Like, they were just fucking like, here we go. Like, again, online, a lot of people arguing that, like, or no, what's your man, that Aussie commentator guy, he was saying, like, this shouldn't be allowed, and South Africa are bending the rules, and da. Yeah, maybe he's right, and maybe eventually they might need to put a pin in that. But I just love that Razzie was like, hang on a fucking second, why don't we do this? Like, it's very risky for the backs.
Is it what?
Like,
how would you not target their 10 and go, all right, let's take him out and see what they're going to fucking do?
But people aren't wise to it yet, so they don't know. But also targeting someone, I don't know how.
Oh,
maybe this is me being horrendously naive, but, like, how many teams go out to be like, we gotta fucking end that fella? Like, I don't think that happens, because you could end your own World Cup as well in the process. Like,
yeah, but at least ruin his day. How about ruin his day? Harass the living shit out of him to the point that his team would want to take him off. Do you know what I mean?
Maybe, but if you've got practically a whole new pack coming on that can just defend him, and he just sits in behind them, he's well protected there as well.
He's a wild bastard, that Razzie. He is.
I love him.
I can't wait to see what business he goes into after rugby, just to see what mad shit. Like, he used to, when he got relegated up to the to the bleachers, up into the nosebleeds when he was coaching. I don't know, was it the Bulls? He was coaching. He got relegated up there, and rather than they were worrying that their radio signal was being tapped as well when they were down to the water guys.
Yes.
So he had lights installed, different colored lights installed at the top of the home stadium, and different combos of lights up there when he would press the buttons would mean different things. So he was sending light signals down to the fucking pitch. This guy's a fucking genius. Yeah. Come in, Landon.
But
Come in, Landon.
But he he'd be tuning into like some ships passing, and he's like, oh, for fuck's sake, that's not what I wanted at all. I picture him like Dr. Evil. He's going to be like, he's going to have a room full of people, like, and I think like him and Eddie Jones might like kind of work together, like to come up with some batshit stuff to be kind of against World Rugby, but kind of on their side, because World Rugby knows that like they're too good to kind of take down, so they need to kind of like, they're a bit like, yeah, like Dr. Evil in
1
his
million
like
rand.
lair. Yeah.
Which is probably about a tenner, is it?
Yeah, which is fuck all. I don't know, but I love him. I think he's an absolute nut job, and I love that. We've nut jobs in rugby. Even though if they pulled that out like of the bag against Ireland, like for the first time, I'd probably be raging. If you're on the receiving end of it.
Yeah. What would you do if you knew it was coming? Because by all accounts, the word on the ground is that it's coming for Ireland. That was a test. Yeah.
I'd be kind of shitting myself if I was the forward. If I was in the forwards, maybe you'd be kind of loving it, but also
you could do a 6-2 split yourself and balance the books. Because somebody like Caelan Doris isn't getting tired. He's a young stud. He isn't getting fucking tired. He just wants hitting people all day. So he's staying on. Yeah.
But he knows then. I suppose you're almost better off knowing and having no doubt that you're going to play the full fucking 80 minutes. Like, there's no question there. Like, so you're not like looking to the bench. Do you know what it's like? Do you know when you play touch rugby?
Yeah.
And you've got no subs. It's way easier.
And just on cue, we lost Anna. I don't know what's going on with her French Wi-Fi right now, but it's all over the map. Anyway. Yes. I won't paraphrase her. She's right. It was some crack to watch that the other evening. I don't know how you counteract it. This World Cup is going to be unbelievable. As I briefly said, during it, we will be doing I think they're called vignettes. Are they? Our little short audios basically explaining how rugby is rugby, and we're going to start recording them next week. Might actually get one or two in Thursday or Friday. I don't think, no, she doesn't have a game this weekend, and we've no game this weekend, so I think we might get a couple of them in, and it'll be 5 to 6 episodes roughly explaining in a fun, light way of how you can get by without sounding like a complete knob who knows nothing about rugby. Or if you just want to know what in the name of Christ we've been talking about for the last 3 seasons, then they'll be coming at you chicken fast in the lead-in to our first game against Romania on the 9th. If you would hit subscribe if it's your first time listening, that'd be great. You may as well hit the bell as well, because then you'll know your phone will actually light up when a brand new episode lands in. Other than that, if it's your first time listening, look, and you're wondering, how the Six Nations went, and the Women's Six Nations. Well, we've done 2 seasons on that already. This, of course, will lead all the way through the World Cup. We will be hitting you weekly with it, if you wouldn't mind sharing it. And rate us 5 stars. Anything less than that is no use to us. But I will say, on behalf of Anna,
it's
Ihoa.
the banana